Welcome, everybody. It's time for a little rug roast. Live. Like, retweet, comment, DM it to everyone you know, text it to people. Just shill the shit out of my show. Find the 2160 show. Bring them in. Hey, welcome. So this is episode 11. Thank you everybody for joining. We've got Kazu with us, and Superlotl is planned to arrive. We haven't seen them yet. There she is. So we'll bring her up. So yeah, we've got Kazu, Superlotl, and me, Bern, and 2160.
What's up, guys?
Yo.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Yo.
So we're gonna kick it off by having a little talk about aliens.
Yeah, I think it's super important after like the news that has come out. I've always been a believer in aliens just because of like mathematics. Statistically, it just doesn't make sense that we can see all these galaxies and we're the only intelligent life out there. I also rock a alien wreck guy, so I guess I have to believe in aliens.
Like the best trait.
And coming from the military, I just heard one too many Navy veterans who fly like the most powerful weapons in the world being like, I saw shit up there that I can't explain, which is just really weird. But the government basically came out and said like, hey, aliens are real. We know this. And then nobody cared. And I want to know why. Like that in any other time in history, that would have been the biggest news of the decade. And instead it was just like nothing. Nobody cared. So either we all knew aliens were real because we all grew up on X-Files like I did, or the news media has just corrupted our attention span and our ability to recognize what might be super impactful to our own lives. What do you guys think?
Oh, they definitely exist. The whole problem is like traveling to us, right? So there's all kinds of stuff out there, but like the ability to travel to us from that far away, like the speed of light's the fastest you can go, right? But all these like quantum physicians talk about like wormholes and like bending time and like traveling through that. So if they are here, that's how they got here. But I know that a lot of pilots see super weird shit. And actually I'm gonna take you guys through an experience my father-in-law had in a little bit here, but let's open it up to the other guests.
I mean, did you guys see Interstellar? These things are definitely real. There's just way too much evidence out there, too many stories, you know. And if the government wants to hide it up. We're still going to interact. Like, let them come.
Yeah, well, you got to think though. Like, if they're not interacting with us, broadly speaking, and they're only like interacting with our government, they're kind of shitty aliens, right? Like, they're not on a level. If you think about it, like if they're buddy with our government, they're like, yeah, we'll keep our existence on the DL, but you know, I don't know what they want, you know, I don't like, maybe they like Big Macs, maybe that's why they come here. I have no idea.
I love this take. Maybe they're just shitty aliens that aren't on the level. like that's the first set of aliens humankind meets, are just like the C team or the D team that like the other aliens of the galaxy are just making fun of. This is a new take I hadn't considered.
We only talk to government aliens. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, like come to the Web3 games. How about that? Let's get an alien team. Let's see how good they are at golf and pickleball.
There we go.
So, but yeah, no, I think it's definitely, we're in a weird time, obviously. So I think like people are just numb to like anything, like just living there in their lane, trying to just make the best of their situation. And honestly, like from my experience, most people are apathetic to like 99% of things that aren't themselves. So, or in their immediate circle, right? So
I like that take a lot. I was just gonna say, I posted something on my Twitter about Art News said basically yesterday's auction at Sotheby's was like the last gasp for NFTs, and I was like, how could you be so wrong coming from an art community when a piece of art sold for the same amount it did in a bull market at like 6.2 million. I was like, this is just, it's just clickbait, or the guy lives in his own head and like just wants to create his own narrative and won't listen to what's going on around him. So
yeah,
that's
I actually laughed when I saw that. I saw your tweet, and I was sitting there laughing like, perfect, man. Like the next time it happens, the next big sale, they'll say the same thing, but who cares, right?
I do think it's crazy though, like Rex, how you said the government has confirmed things and people just don't seem to care, or it didn't make enough noise in media, and maybe it was strategic enough that other things at the time were overshadowing these news that people were interested about. But I mean, I'm a massive math nerd as well, and even there's too many things that we can't explain that existed, and so it seems naive to think that we're smart enough to do things that we just forgot and we can't explain how they were made. Like,
I think it's like a 50-year psyop, right? Like the government has just been slowly leaking information in certain ways, so that when they came around to say like, yeah, aliens are real, people were just like, yeah, we don't care anymore. You've been like leaking this information for so long that we're desensitized to it. But I definitely believe in the whole, like, there are things throughout human history that we cannot mathematically explain. And where did that technology, come from? So aliens are real. The government has said aliens are real. I guess we move on to the next phase of life.
Yeah, let me take you through an alien experience that my mother-in-law had. So, or actually father-in-law. So UFO, right? Earlier this week, he was driving. He saw these giant lights. But I've actually got a WhatsApp message that my mother-in-law sent us that I'm going to share with her take on the whole thing real quick here. So that's my mother-in-law.
So we're going to Holland, and we're in the corner, and I told Dad, show me where the UFO was at. I'm like, are you sure it wasn't that antenna? And he's like, was that there? I'm like, it's always been there. He goes, ah, chinga. He goes, se me hace que fue la antenna. So no, it was a freaking antenna. That's all.
So that was an experience we dealt with this week. Papa, as my daughters call him, thought he saw a UFO, but it was just an antenna. So I thought that was worth the share.
Yeah, I definitely think that happens a lot, right? Like people are definitely out there trying to see something that's not there. But like some of these like motion tracking videos off of like F-16s and these like really advanced level like tracking systems that like bring stuff up that's flying in the air that is moving erratically, like it doesn't make sense to physics. Like those things would be harder to explain by something like a man-made object, right? So yes, definitely two sides of a coin with alien experiences from humanity.
Yeah, for sure. And I've seen the videos, like the ones that the government released, and nothing can move like the way these objects move. So pretty interesting stuff. But on that note, let's get into the show. We're kicking it off with Kazu first. We've got Joe and SB the Ghost with us. If you guys want to start by just giving us a brief background on how you got into NFTs, what your experience has been so far, and then we'll dig into the project after that.
Yeah, so I'll go first. So during COVID, I had a lot of, as an event organizer, I had a lot of time on my hands. So I got into a lot of different hobbies. One of those was investing. So I think what led me to crypto and Web3 was honestly like that first, like, I guess, mainstream shitcoin cycle. And then, from there, and that was kind of ending right around the time like Bored Ape minted and stuff. And by that point, I was really interested in the space, kind of learn, I'm not the super technical, I'm more on the creative side, but kind of can see the different applications for blockchain and stuff. And, obviously I think like we're still in a pretty primitive, like period for it. And I think as we get on, like, I think the most like valuable use cases are definitely the most boring, which is probably why we're where we're at. But yeah, so basically from like early 2021 on, kind of been deep in the space and just, trying to build out a little niche with my skill set. So.
Nice. Good stuff, man. Well, yeah, you were early, so hopefully that worked out well for you. I consider that early, but yeah. We've also had a great bear market here, so for sure. SB, how about you?
So same type of thing like Joe said. It was kind of right around COVID, and NFTs for me were very appealing. I kept hearing about them. You know, was really big into trading cards and collectibles growing up. So for me, and tech, so it kind of just made sense. It was like, this is the next variation of collectibles. But I wasn't ready to jump ship. But one of my best friends kept hounding me, like, dude, you got to check these things out. Like, you got to look at this project. You got to look at this project. And I kept telling him no, like, I'm going to do it on my own time, you know, at my own pace. So I started getting, I guess, scouted by different NFT projects that were like relevant to my interest. And one of them was a golf project. And I was like, oh, snap, like this might be it. Like, this might be my entryway into it because this is something I'm super passionate about, and it's an NFT. And at that time, it was a Crypto Country Club, and it was a small golf project that had some utility behind it. They had Joe Damon, you know, the pro, on their team as like a pro golfer. And I'm like, this is cool. I like the utility. I like what you guys are talking about. And that was kind of my entry. And Joe and I actually met through another golf NFT project. And I have the background in travel, events, hospitality. My father and I run a travel company where we work mainly with collegiate sports, and we put events on for college sports. So when Joe and I connected, it was more like, how do we bring this hospitality and travel stuff into the NFT Web3 world? And here we are.
I think that's such a perfect example of how people think mass adoption in this space is going to be one singular event, and it's just not. You had friends telling you, hey, you need to get into here, but you didn't have anything that related to your life or to your interest. And so that's why I always applaud, and I think shows like this are important, is to bring different mechanisms, different ideas, and different concepts to show people that this Web3 technology can be introduced to a whole host of new audiences as people get more and more creative and bringing it into the interests that people have in everyday life, right? So I'm always a big proponent of saying this technology will reach mass adoption when people are need it or use it in everyday life and don't even realize that they're using it. And something like you're talking about, like a country club membership, is a perfect example.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think membership utility is realistically the path of least resistance for mass adoption in a lot of ways. And I think you see that with Starbucks, Swoosh, obviously, tons of projects that are leaning into that. And they tend to be the ones that stick around more than just something where it's like, hey, we're doing this cool PFP and we'll figure it out. Like, you know, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard to figure things out when you're, you know, and granted, like, our space is still pretty small. Obviously the bear has kind of pushed a lot of folks out. But there's still, you know, a lot of noise regardless of that. And I think that's the case with any industry where if there's something there and there's actual use cases, there's going to be a lot more noise than substance, but, you know, finding the substance definitely will pay off for you in the long run, or leaning into that. Right.
Yeah. So this bear, I think, you know, for people who have been around for a long time, I entered NFTs on Web3 in 2020. And at the height of the bull, a lot of people in the background were calling for a bear market because it was just getting out of control. And while, you know, some days are very difficult to handle, I think this is really what this space needs. And what you find is the people that are passionate and innovative and inquisitive have stuck around. Like, I just got back from NFC Lisbon, and it was a great event, and the passion and the excitement of the people in the room are the people that we need around to kind of build this back up in a more sturdy fashion. So it's definitely exciting to see you know, the things that are being worked on right now in the space.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of why we, you know, we're not doing like with our project, we're really focused on experiential and kind of in-person experiences tied to Web3, but also some other industries as well. And it's just because, like, you know, where our skill sets are, I don't think we're going to add any value if we try to develop something technical or code driven or anything like that. And there's plenty of people building really unique projects there anyway. So it's like, how can we support the broader industry? How can we help bring people together to maybe get some unique collaborations that maybe they would have missed if they didn't attend one of our events? So yeah, I think that's kind of why we're leaning into what we're doing with Kazu, and it's just the best way we can help, because we do believe in, like, the technology overall and what it will lead to eventually, you know, once we get past this rocky patch.
Yeah. So on that note, take us through Kazu Tell us about it.
All right, yeah. So Kazu is essentially a recreational networking company. We're focused on connecting, like just from my experiences, like doing some satellite events at bigger conferences and even running golf events at some of bigger conferences. Like, I don't know, the state of networking where you spend like thousands of dollars to just, it's just like a weird vibe. Like, I guess is the easiest and most polite way, I guess, to describe it. So it's like, how can we put people together in a way where it's easier for their guard to come down and you can kind of like wipe out some of that professional fluff that you get at some of these other conferences. So it's using recreation and leisure. And, you know, with our launch event in Bermuda in October, the Web3 games, I think it's essentially taking like an adult, like the field day format and kind of altering it for an adult audience and putting people together from within the industry to compete in kind of a bunch of fun, casually competitive events. So golf, pickleball, scavenger hunt, some other things that will be revealed closer to the event. So, you know.
Yeah,
nice. I like that. I like the idea of getting people's guards down, right? If you're playing golf or you're doing an activity, you're gonna be more. It loosens you up a little bit, so that's good.
Well, and dude, golf is one of those games where the personal struggle is apparent, even if you think you're hiding it, because maybe you're just like internally bubbling with rage over how bad you're playing. And from my experience, man, I feel like it's like a good way to vet people. And I've heard that from a lot of different people in business where like they feel like golf is like their secret weapon for vetting a possible business relationship. But anything competitive where people like feel like they have something at stake, you kind of get to see their true colors, whether they intend to show them or not. I think that's really helpful for if you're going to get into a relationship with anyone, business or personal, you know?
Yeah, with golf, like if I'm playing and I hit a bad shot and someone just starts laughing, they're in. Like they're good with me. Like I want someone who's gonna laugh at my bad shots. I got a lot of that last weekend. I played like 36 holes and my friends were just giving me shit the whole time. But that's I definitely get that. You see how people really are on the golf cart or golf course. I've played with people who just went and sat in the cart the whole time because they were so mad they didn't want to play anymore. You want to do business with someone like that? Fuck no, right?
Nah, you don't want people that quit that easy, right? I mean, like you're gonna face adversity in business, right? I mean, like and that's kind of part of the reason we picked Bermuda. We know logistically doing an event in Bermuda is a bit of a challenge, but we also, you know, touching on kind of the broader industry focus, we know Bermuda is really sincere about being like a tech and Web3 kind of hub. And they're also trying to like really lean into sports tourism. So we feel like we're in a nice sweet spot where there's a lot of symbiotic opportunities between what we're trying to build and what they're trying to do to get more people to the island and realize it's not like just a triangle in the middle of the ocean where planes crash, you know? So
I think this is a nice evolution. As somebody who's been attending, you know, these NFT Web3 crypto conferences for like 2 years now, it's kind of like Groundhog's Day. Every time you go, there is, you know, conferences that may not be well thought out or don't have a lot of good content, so people aren't really there to go to those, and they go to these side events. But these side events, it's a little hard to network if it's loud music in a club or a party, and it kind of gets tiring after a while just showing up for weeks of that, right? And so the next evolution of that is going to get people together in this industry that want to have serious conversations and build meaningful relationships, and that happens on the side, but there's no real like good forum to do that. And I think by playing something like golf, you know, that's a perfect way to actually give people the opportunity to not only get to know each other but have some real conversations about, you know, the state of the industry, what they're working on, what they envision for the future. So I think that's really cool. And going someplace like Bermuda, I've been to Bermuda, it's beautiful, by the way, so I don't know that I'll be able to attend this event. I'll have to check my calendar, but it sounds really cool. How do people get involved with your project?
Okay, so yeah, we're going to be doing like an initial team rollout. So what we're doing with for that is we found some captains from certain communities within the space or people who have been part of the space for like just people I've met really early on that, you know, stand-up human beings, well respected by the communities they're in, but also just by the broader industry. So the different teams, like some of them will be singular communities, some of them will be coalition teams, just because we saw from pre-registration, there was like a lot of scattered submissions. So it kind of like, and this goes back to what I was saying before, you have to be flexible, because we're like, oh, damn, like we have some clarity on what communities we have interest from. And then we have like this smattering of different ones. So it's like maybe more coalition teams led by captains of people who are like respected in the industry would be the better approach. So yeah, when we roll out the initial, like, 3 or 4 teams that we have right now, next week, people will be able to sign up through the captains. And that's just because we want to give captains the ability to build their team how they want. We do want this to be a very collaborative endeavor with like everyone we're involved with. So it's more about letting them, like, do they want to be strategic and try to find absolute sticks and fucking pickleball pros? Like, you know what I mean? Or do they want to just be like, who's the most fun, or first come, first serve, right? Like there's and to your point that you were kind of talking about before, about like kind of rinse and repeat with events, like we wanted to curate this format in a way where you put people in an environment where they really have to collaborate, come up with strategy to kind of figure out the best way to maximize their point accumulation for the team totals. But then we've also built in these kind of downtime blocks where they can kind of, one, just hang out on the resort, go to the beach, check out the local area, or mingle with each other and kind of get to know each other on a personal basis. So trying to find that balance of competition, but that forces teamwork and collaboration, but then also that more casual, laid back hang, kind of situation.
Nice. I like it. So how does it work? Like, do people mint the pass? They hold that pass that gets them into the events. Are you minting for each event? Like what is, I guess, the mechanics of this look like?
Right now, we're rooted in Web 2, mainly because of the skepticism around the space. And coming back to our mission, it's really like we just want to bring people together in a meaningful way. So to avoid any type of headaches or any skepticism at all, it's like, let's just keep this as Web 2 as we can right now in terms of signups, buying tickets, registration portal, and eventually down the line, we definitely want to dive more into Web 3 and potentially have passes that are mintable for different experiences or events that we have rolling out in the future.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. I mean, keep it straightforward, and that keeps it open to everybody. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Typically we would rate like a project, but as you're not really, you're a business, you're not a project per se, right? You probably have a community, but typically there's like some sort of token tied in with any kind of project. So I guess 2160, any questions?
Yeah, no, I honestly actually don't see anything wrong with it. I think I've made my own journey being in this space. I'm a person that loves technology and got into this space because it was kind of an obvious hobby for me, coming from a tech background and kind of somebody who's always loved art my entire life. NFTs, Web3 kind of just made sense. And I used to kind of be a maxi and be like, if you're not building in Web3, then like, I don't want to hear the conversation. But I'm not like that anymore, because I think that the fact that you guys are even open to exploring the technology and bringing it into your Web2 space in a really organic way, I think will make it so that the people that are part of your community will embrace it, right? And instead of it being kind of like thrown in people's faces in a way that is not palatable to them. So yeah, I really like your guys' concept. I think, getting people together in a shared community is always a great venture, and it's kind of what why Web3 kind of took off and cemented with a lot of people to begin with. So I really like your guys' vibe. I definitely want to check out more. Can you tell our audience like where we get more information? You guys have a website, Twitter. What's the best way to get a hold of you or people in your community?
Yeah, so unless my phone shut off, there's the Kazu in the Twitter space itself, like our Twitter account. And then we got kazuxp.com. And, again, we're really focused on just, my background in events pretty much started with like live music, which, oddly, like I've had all these like event formats I've wanted to do for like years, this being one of them that's not like music centric, which is cool. So it's kind of just like, I just lost my train of thought. But kazuxp.com. I remember what I was going to say. So we really want to focus on quality of experience, right? Which is why, you know, we're trying to make the sign up process as simple as possible, everything as simple as possible. So our website really is, and this will be a theme with different events as we go forward, very straight to the point, no fluff. So right now our website is pretty much event details. There's still the pre-registration portal set up for people who want to like just say, hey, I want to be on the mailing list so I can stay up to date with what's going on. Obviously, we'll have some community team rollouts next week, and that will kind of showcase like the initial few communities that are in it. And then we'll figure out, like, I really would love to do a couple chain teams. So different people from who, you know, might be Polygon maxis, ETH maxis, whatever, come together and try to compete. You know, the grand prize for the event is 10K to the winning team. So given like the package costs, which are it's $14.20 for the golfer package and $12.90 for the challenger package, and that's pretty much all inclusive. Like, it's not like all you can eat food all the time, but it's, you know, lodging, ground transportation, you know, scheduled food programming, breakfast buffet, merch bag, like all that stuff. And so the way we're kind of looking at it, like if you compare what you're getting at our event plus all the programming to like just a regular vacation in Bermuda of like a similar like, you know, length, it's a pretty good value. I've been saying, it's, you know, a bull market event at a bear market price, right? So that's kind of where we're at with it. Yeah, it's pretty much it. So kazuxp.com, or just follow us on the Twitter. And, you know, if you want, I mean, if you're someone who is a prominent member in a community or something, or someone who thinks they could field a killer team, by all means, reach out, you know, by DM or through our website. And yeah, we're really excited to see how the broader industry reacts to this, because we think we need more fun, right? Like, everyone's been real down. The vibes have been kind of been a little depressing. So we can get back to having fun, getting people together.
That is true. I definitely think
I'm done.
This is amazing from a community perspective, because you're right. The vibes have been down. We do need events that get people hyped. The in real life events, they create energy. They re-energize people who are in this space that are, you know, sometimes chained to their desk. Like Bern Dogler, he won't be able to go to this event even though he's a golfer, because they got him chained to that desk. But this sounds not like Fire Island. It sounds like it's actually going to be a success and people will have a great time. So yeah, totally have my endorsement. It sounds great. I definitely like to look into it more. And thanks guys for coming on the show and kind of explaining a little bit about what you're working on.
Yeah, I like it as well. I do like how you don't have a token tied to it. You don't have why price not go up and the speculation and all that bullshit that comes with forcing an NFT project, right? I think the value's there, right? Especially with a hotel and ground transportation included. Like, if I were to go to an event and you guys, you know, were present at it, I for sure would sign up, because it covers a lot of that for you. And it would be fun. It'd be a fun event to attend. So, I mean, I like it. Yeah, I would definitely use it.
We appreciate you guys.
Cool. Well, hey, there is internet in Bermuda.
Yeah, so, but I got
I was gonna say there's internet in Bermuda if you want to do a beach show live from the beach, RugRoast.
If I weren't married with 2 kids, if it was just like me and my wife, for sure, I'd probably go to everything. But it's just too hard, even with babysitters and stuff. But I mean, someday I'll probably be at one of your events, you know. But I like it, man. I think if you guys can just keep crushing the marketing, be active in a lot of communities, you could really blow these games up.
Appreciate it, guys. Hopefully we can see you out there.
That's the goal, man. So
yeah, you guys can laugh at my shitty golf swing. So.
Yeah, you might be pool house junkie in us. You might be an ace.
Oh, dude, I'm bad too. Yeah,
I'm bad, but it's fun. I mean, you get a few good hits around. That's enough for me. So I'm just out there drinking and having fun, you know.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, if you're not going pro, that's all you can do for golf.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I had a phone. Cool. Yeah, but thanks for coming on, guys. 2160. Any closing comments?
No, I'm good. Best of luck in October, guys.
Thanks so much, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Good luck. Rebecca, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks for coming on. So yeah, I guess we'll start out. You want to tell us about your experience in NFTs, how you got into them, and what you've been doing since?
Yeah, for sure. Also, sorry, they just turned on a vacuum cleaner. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but
Oh, you're good. You're good.
a second I unmute. But yeah, my journey has been, I guess, kind of similar to the Kazu guys and a lot like all of us. I'm sure we just reached a point where we heard enough about it and it was making too much noise that we had to listen. And so my kind of pinnacle moment was probably literally seeing the one pudgy penguin with the pineapple suit. And as soon as that sold for 2 million, I was like, okay, I hear you. I have to understand this. This is just ridiculous. And now I'm sold. So that was probably like early 2021. So just after COVID. And then since then, I've been just really going hard on more, I guess, traditional Web2 companies and trying to understand what can they do in the space and how can it be relevant for them. So I did some just like consulting things, and that's kind of what brought me to Inkbox, which is a very native Web2 company. We've been around since 2015 and they're owned by BIC. So been really excited to figure out ways that, I mean, what is BIC going to do in the metaverse? How are they going to be the pen of this new world? And just trying to do a lot of onboarding and education has been most of my background journey before coming to this specific NFT collection, which I'm working on.
Wow, that's really interesting. I had no idea that BIC was involved in Web3.
It's crazy because, well, to be fair, everybody is involved in the sense that they have some kind of patent, it's very vague, or they have some kind of trademark that they say that they're doing something, but in reality, there's like, you can't Google BIC metaverse and find anything, but we are working on things, and the first one should actually launch in July. So that should be really exciting. They're kind of entering with the game with some other synonymous brands. I guess some alpha that I don't think I was supposed to say, but yeah, they're doing a lot, or doing their best, right?
I think that's a lot of corporations. So in the bull, we saw a lot of corporations get criticized for coming into Web3 and not understanding community or the space, and launching things that were deemed or criticized as being failed attempts at coming into Web3. And I think the problem is corporations don't move as fast as Web3 does. They needed a couple years to kind of consolidate an idea and get consultants on many levels, and bring something forward that's actually going to matter. So I think in this next round, you're going to see corporations actually bring things into Web3 and the metaverse that actually bring value that customers or consumers or communities will actually leverage and want to use. So it's good to hear that those conversations are happening behind the scenes. A lot of us know or are being asked by corporations for advice. And I suspect that, on our way to mass adoption, a lot of that will happen in non-decentralized ways, corporations that build kind of their own closed loop systems, but take advantage of the technology. And I am a person that thinks you need both to kind of get where everybody wants to go. So yeah, totally interesting. But give us some background on the project that you're currently working on.
Yeah, so our NFT collection is called Superlotls. So it's the genesis for Inkbox and BIC basically into Web3. We're a free mint, so that's pretty exciting. Things have been pretty chaotic, and we mint next Wednesday. So been very busy basically. But essentially, if you're not familiar with Inkbox, we make semi-permanent tattoos. They last 1 to 2 weeks on your skin. I have like always a bunch, like all the Vinny Hager ones I've just like put everywhere, and they kind of look like this. We've been working with Deadfellas, and they come in that way as well. Yeah, this is us.
That is really, really cool. I actually have real tattoos, but this would be awesome for my son, who always wants tattoos, for me to throw them on him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a lot of different consumer bases, a lot of obviously try before you buy, a lot of younger people who are not allowed to get free tattoo or real tattoos. This is literally my arm. I took this today. So
nice. That's cool.
Yeah. But our NFTs, are really excited that all 42 of them, they have unique one-of-one tattoos. We've been working with a lot of really awesome designers like Vinny Hager, Deadfellas, a lot of other Web3 communities, as well as a lot of native tattoo artists to design. Obviously, that's a massive amount of 4,000 tattoos. So all of them are linked to unique different utilities. Really, the biggest thing that we're excited about is Inkbox has grown because of our artist database, I guess you could say. Right now, we have 750 artists on Inkbox, and we pay them just under 2 million USD per year in commissions. And so what we really want to do with Web3 is do what we do best and open it up to our Web3 new community. So if you have a superlotl, you can submit your own art if you're an artist, or you can submit NFTs that you own the IP rights to be sold as tattoos on Inkbox, and you would earn commission from the sales of that. So just figure out ways. I mean, what do we do already, and how can it be relevant to Web3 people has been our approach, basically.
That's cool. I want to get like a sleeve, but I don't want to like just pick out a normal design that like 3,000 other people have. So I like the idea of going, especially if it's made by like a cool NFT artist that I respect and like their work. I'd be much more willing to get a tattoo from that platform. So it's really cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we're definitely excited to be minting finally next week. And kind of what we were talking about with Web2 brands, we've been building for a year now, and we've had the opportunity to see a lot of brands make mistakes, and they don't rug people, but they do a little bit disappear sometimes. And it seems like they just do something, and then maybe the community wasn't super responsive, and they a little bit just let it be on its own. And we've learned a lot from that, and really trying to be proactive and making sure that we're building a genuine community and bringing them value. Yeah.
I really like the look of these. I guess the hard question right now, given the overall market in PFPs, is like, how does this PFP fit into the rest of the ecosystem that you are building out for BIC?
Yeah, so we're basically, these superlotls are the entry point to all things that Inkbox and BIC are going to be doing through Web3. So it's really coming down to access. They are also fully rigged 3D WebGLB files we're giving to everyone. So beyond just creating in 2D art, we want to give opportunities that like show us what you can do with 3D objects as well. Like maybe we have new campaigns for BIC or through Inkbox that it's advertising using these axolotls that people have created, and you're entitled to commission on that as well. So we wanted to give things that people could do stuff with was our main goal. And we've been drawing a lot of inspiration from projects like A Kid Called Beast that we've seen obviously kill it in this last year, and really just been learning a lot from them.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when people hear, oh, we've been working for a year, and they think that you're only coming out with a PFP project, I think the one thing that you said, which always gets me excited, is these are fully rigged with GLB files. I don't think people understand the amount of effort that takes. I work and advise on projects that use GLB files as their native format for NFTs, and it takes a lot of effort. And what you can do with them is the future of where this technology is heading. So being able to release a project now that is kind of future-proofed for being able to use these PFPs in metaverses, in gaming, and stuff like that, I think is really impressive. And it shows that your team has the future in mind, that it's not just what you were referencing earlier, which is a slow rug, which we see from a lot of companies where they do put out content in this space, they do put out projects, but then there's not a next step. And because there's not a next step, people's attention just go to something else. And then the community kind of just bleeds away. So that's super exciting. I'm excited to not only participate, it's a free mint, but do I need to sign up somewhere? Do I need to get on an allow list? How do we participate? Or we just jump in on Wednesday and hit mint as many times as we can?
I guess that's a strategy you can do. But no, our website is superlotls.com. So everything is minting directly on there. We are also partnered with MoonPay. So obviously there's fees involved. And even with the free mints, we want to make sure it's accessible. So whether you're going to pay for those fees in ETH or in USD with a credit card, you can do that directly on our mint site. To get onto our guaranteed whitelist, which is the Lotl Legends, we have the Lotl Oath that I hope that you've seen go around on Twitter lately that people are tweeting about. So you basically have to kind of raise your hand and say that you're committed to minting a Lotl next Wednesday. and you get that role in our Discord, and we have a lot of other Discord giveaways obviously going on too. Yeah, it's a good point about the future as well. I'm always hesitant to talk about our longer term plans because, you know, do things here and now first before you start promising tattoo skins in gaming, and where our traits are also dynamic, so you can add multiple tattoos onto your character. And we want to do limited edition drops with different Web3 communities. This year, we're really focused on how do we pay people in new ways and cool ways through their designs, through their NFTs. How do we monetize IP for people if they don't have opportunities? That's our core focus. And then also just getting access to tattoos. Like some of these guys are booked 5 years in advance. You can never get ink by them. And so we have those relationships. And with the superlotl, you can get these priority bookings as well. So we're focus on IRL, and then we go into the gaming and all the cool things that I'm most excited about for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand the hesitancy of wanting to promise too much, right? But I think there's some cool features here that you're talking about, right? So not only access to incredible artists, which as a NFT collector and a tattoo collector, I've waited, 2 to 5 years to get tattooed by an artist that I've really looking forward to. So that's incredible utility in its own right. But something you said is definitely cool. Like, could you imagine partnering with Pudgy Penguins and like then upgrading your lotl to have like your Pudgy Penguin on the arm tattoo? That would be so awesome, because what people want in the metaverse is like the ability to represent themselves and like having this character that they could be, but then also showing off their newest PFP would be amazing. And I mean, Bern knows this. We come from the Rec Guy community. There was this bet that once Rec Guy reached 1eth floor that people were going to get Rec Guy tattoos. I have a Rec Guy tattoo because of that. Bern chickened out. We won't talk about it.
Listen, once it hits 100 ETH, I have to get tattoos of Mando, Alien Queen, and Obi's
yeah.
On me. Not on my face, but on me. It's like full face.
All right, well, we'll see what happens first. Interchangeable tattoos from Rebecca's project, or your 100 ETH Rec Guy OSF tattoo on your face.
Happening in 2.5 years. Will be
2.5 years. You heard it here first. But I think it's incredible the amount of things that you could do with this project. I think there's a ton of degens who have tattoos, so I think it's something that people can relate to. I also really dig the art. So I'm definitely going to figure out how to take this oath so I can get on this allow list, because I definitely want to be able to mint one for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I normally don't do this right on stream, but if you want to send me details via email, send me full copy of what you want. I'll blast this out in Rug Radio and DGen's Discord, because it's free. There's no risk. There's a big brand involved. It's cool. I mean, I think the art's amazing. And the whatever files you guys were talking about, I'm not very techie, but hey, you got those files. So if you got those files, it's good. Again, tattoos, but I think both communities like those. So if you want, I'll do a free blast for you.
With those files, Bern, you could take it into something like on Cyber, and you could just throw the 3D in like a gallery of whatever you minted, which would
just have it chilling in your gallery.
Yeah, it's like that. Those GOB files are native to most metaverses, so having that utility like right off the bat from Mint is amazing.
That's cool.
So on OpenSea, you can see like the 360-degree view basically, and then you download that and can use that in a bunch of different ways. It's funny that you mentioned Pudgy Penguins, because we might be talking to them, and so we definitely have things on its way, and it's kind of native, right? And in every Web3 community, there's like hoodies and hats, and why not custom made tattoos that their communities can rep for them as well. We were at the NFT NYC event with Deadfellas last year, and they had Scab Shop actually like needling, like real tattooing people, and then we were beside them. Just so if you're not that hardcore of a Deadfellas fan, you can get it temporary or get the permanent one as well. So events
you might be interested in this.
Yeah, I love this idea. I think it has legs. I think you got a lot of communities that would love to partner with you and get these temporary tattoos, and then tattoos on PFPs as well. I think it's really cool.
Same.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm gonna rate it. Should I rate it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna rate you. I'm gonna give you an 8.3. I mean, it's cool. Obviously, you got a big name tied to it. Tattoos super cool. Got the files, and there's no risk. So in all we've seen so far is projects where there is a cost to mint, which I get it, they got to make money. But the fact that you're just making this accessible to everybody, we haven't seen that in a long time. I love the art. I think it's super cool. I like the idea of leveraging the communities to get them involved with the tattoos. That's super cool. I'm going to bring this up to OSF. I'm gonna shill it to them and be like, dude, we gotta get involved here. So
yeah, that's actually a really good point. I'm gonna give it a high score too, because I'm gonna give it an 8.6, and I think I'm gonna do that for a few reasons. One, you're bringing a brand into the space, I think, in a really unique and right way, where Bern says it is free for people to get involved, which is always amazing. And it's kind of a let us show you what we can do mentality. It's not a hey, pay us up front and then we'll try to deliver something later. It's a cool concept that can remain in your project, but it opens you to so many partnerships with so many different projects. And it's got kind of this in real life mix to it, right? Like you said, you were at NFT NYC right next to people that were giving real tattoos. But with Deadfellas, I mean, Deadfellas, that's a perfect partnership. Pudgy's great partnership. I think Rec Guy would be an amazing partnership. Like, so for all of those different reasons and the interchangeableness of being able to like throw new tattoos and get access to artists, and then you thinking and future proofing the project with the 3D files. Yeah, I think you guys are definitely on your way, and I'm excited to dig in to the material a little bit more, and then definitely minting next week.
Same. Yeah, I'll blast it out for you too.
I gotta ask then, since we didn't get 10s, where is the delta? What do you think that we could do to
a 10 is like the best thing ever. Like, you'd probably have to be established for a while and come on and like show like 6 months of huge success. You know, you're crushing it. I'm never gonna give a 10 to a project that hasn't minted yet.
Yeah, for me, a 10, like, you know, I'm even critical of stuff that like Yuga does. Like, I just feel like there's always room for improvement, and you can't hit on every single piece, because for me, there are things that like make me a maxi and like, hey, is it all on chain? Is your project minting completely on chain? Probably not. You're probably storing files on IPFS. Doesn't mean it lasts forever, right? So there are always avenues of which I can kind of pick at and say like this would be ultimate Web3. But I think that's a really high score, and I think that you guys have a lot of opportunity for success. So yeah,
very high score.
It's a very high score, and I'm actually really excited. It's been a while since I've been excited about a mint, and I don't really mint anything.
Really, yeah, I've been itching to mint something. So hell yeah.
Yeah, you're allowing us to be DGens again. We actually get to
feels good
to mint and participate. So obviously you got Twitter, join your Discord, go to your website to find out more information. Wednesday, do you know what time Wednesday? Is there a mint time?
Yeah, I can send over like a Mint 101 doc as well. So 12 p.m. is when the guaranteed whitelist will begin, and then until we sell out. So hopefully a minute later, but obviously I'm being realistic. So 12 p.m. next Wednesday, free mint, and it's 2 per wallet. We want it to be reasonable and not have one guy sweep them all.
Yeah, that's good. It'll mint out for sure, and I'll help make sure that happens. So if you want to email me the details, we'll do the blast. But yeah, super cool project. I can't wait to mint something. It's been
just for clarity, because we do have audience members from all over the world. 12 p.m. Eastern, Pacific Standard Time.
Oh right.
European time.
Central.
12 p.m. China time. It'd be a little rough.
Don't do that to me, because that means I got to wake up in the middle of the night.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think there's one time zone which is like Universal Standard or something. So maybe it's 2 or 6 p.m. to Universal Standard Time. We have like a subunit of Inkbox Japan, so we were a little bit mindful about where people are.
Yeah, that's great. You definitely have to mint where your community is biggest, for sure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I agree. I've been looking for things to mint for a while, and I'm sure like everyone, there's not loads of options that are coming out. And I mean, luckily we have a lot of privilege coming from BIC. They're not looking to make money off of like a $50 mint on a 4,000 unit. So we definitely milk our privilege where we can and leverage that, obviously.
Yeah, I think there are still a lot of projects coming out, thankfully, because we get people on the show to be able to talk to. But I think quality projects is what we're really looking for, and that's why somebody like me and Bern would get excited and want to pass this information off to communities that we're kind of involved in, because there does seem to be quality behind this project, and that's what people ultimately should be getting involved in, especially in the middle of a bear market. So I definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing this with us, and with the community that we have here at RugRoast and on Rug Radio. Is there any last words or anything else you want to impart before we jump off?
I mean, I think that we went through most things. Yeah, obviously we mint on Wednesday. Everyone get on the Lotl oath. Make sure you're showing up on time. We have a lot of really fun things planned, and even the partners that we have already are pretty impactful, and that's what matters most to Inkbox and how they've been able to grow up. So we're just bringing that into Web3. But thanks so much for your time as well. This was really fun and cool to hear about the golf project as well. I've never played, so maybe it's a day one that we try. But yeah, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Looking forward to minting. All right, thanks everybody. Like, retweet, subscribe, share, text it to your family, share everything we have, and yeah, we'll see you next week. I'll play us
one last shout out for me from the RugDAO. So there's a live vote going on for the RDAO Council for the next 12 months. So if you guys are a part of the DAO and you hold RDAO tokens, please go and vote on Snapshot. You can find that link in the Rug Radio Discord.
That's right. Vote, or I'm going to ban you from every community. Every community you're in.
Don't get on Bern's bad side. He runs all the communities, every single one of them.
Iron fist. So, all right, no, but for real, vote. I've got my 12 tokens. I still need to vote, but I'm going to do that probably the next hour or so. So yeah, vote. Rebecca, thank you again. 21.
Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. Appreciate it.
Good show. Can't wait to mint. And I'll play us out with little J6.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. It's like we just sit here awkwardly and listen to you. What do you do?
Yeah.
You nod your head. You wanted me to leave.
You kind of do one of these. I just like the song. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.
I just closed instead of ending the broadcast, so now I'll end the broadcast. Thanks, everybody.